Good evening. I call to order this Monday, June 8th, 2026, Waynesboro City Council meeting. Mr. Swope, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes, sir. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Swope. Item 2 is adoption of the meeting agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Shoulders. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Item 3 is matters from the mayor. The Vice Mayor, Mr. Hamp, and myself attended the annual Freedom Fund NAACP banquet on Friday. Guest speaker was fantastic, and the singing group, St. James Baptist Choir, was also very, very good. So, had a great time. Item 4, matters from council.
I have a few things, actually. I hope y'all don't think I was saving these, but it's been a busy weekend, as Mayor Lee said. NAACP Freedom Fund banquet. The speaker was Michaela Venable, and so, and then also the men's choir from St. James, so very enjoyable. And let's see. I also had the honor of attending the Serenity Garden engraved brick dedication yesterday, where I spoke to the partnership with the city and the garden and what the garden means. Then in Stanton, I attended the prior week historic marker dedication ceremony for Queen Elizabeth Miller. And Queen Elizabeth Miller was a woman along with her husband, William Miller, who they took in over a period of 40 years. They took in over 300 children, and specifically black children, African American children that were abandoned, homeless. Then also, going back to May 18th, Waynesboro Augusta Women's Club, I presented a proclamation to them for 90 years of service to the Waynesboro community. And man, 90 years of anything is a long time. So it was great to see the women there and to celebrate that with them. And that is it. Thank you.
I did want to speak on something just to address hot topic conversation over the past several months with school funding as it goes. I know we are pushing off our meeting or pushed off scheduling the meeting with the school board to work on that, and they have a better idea of what the state's proposed budget's going to be. But a lot of the talk around it has really centered on certain things that kind of struck a chord with me, that it appears that the public, doesn't seem to think that we've done our homework or that we're researching this accordingly, or that we haven't put forth anything that actually changed in the past 20 years that would bring about the talk about adjusting the school formula. So just to put out there that we're not all, crazy or coming up with numbers off the top of our heads. The first one is population. So the population of Waynesboro has grown 13 to 15% since that formula went into place, and our school enrollment has not changed at all. So we have more needs in the community than we had in 2020 in balance with the school system. The second thing that I would like to put out there is that I've heard this said multiple times, and again, strikes a chord, especially with someone whose children are going through Waynesboro Public Schools, whose daughter wants to be a teacher, whose mother was a teacher, is that we don't invest to the degree that surrounding counties do. So just for food for thought, I believe this references Augusta County that's somewhere close to 50%, right? They contribute $5,684 a year per student with their 50%. Waynesboro contributes $6,450 a year with our 42. So while the percentage may sound like they're more invested in their children, Waynesboro is more invested financially per student. Also, when you look at Stanton is our closest neighbor, and Stanton does contribute slightly more annually per student in the realm of $7,000 last year, about $600 more than Waynesboro. But their average household income is also about $6,000 more per year per household than Waynesboro. So these are all things that we take into consideration when we're looking at how to balance the formula and not set our children back or cripple the school system, but also be able to support the other areas of our local government that need addressed. And that brings me to Charlottesville, which is like the best, highest tax income area. And, you know, they contribute $17,000, almost $18,000 a year per student. Pretty much the total amount of what Waynesboro contributes with state and federal and local altogether, Charlottesville does by itself. But their percentage is 40. So being stuck on a 42% and saying that 42% is what works instead of sitting down and what we're going to do the hard work in a couple months when the school board is ready and when we're ready for those conversations to figure out what funding is going to make sense for the students and for the families that we want to stay in the community to send their kids to those schools and not price people out. So 100%, we've done our homework. We're looking at this holistically. It's not one dry cut answer, but I just wanted to put that out there because it seems like the community has been building this narrative that we don't take into consideration everything that it takes to fund the schools properly. So that's been on my heart for 2 months now. I'm sorry I didn't make it to the last meeting, but I did want to put that out there. And like I said, welcome to conversations with anybody that has questions about it, but 100% we do our homework and we'll be graded when it comes down. And my children going to the schools is a testament to my faith in the school system and my dedication to make sure that we're properly funded. Thank you.
All right. Item 5 is consideration of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. Is there a second?
I'll second with a friendly amendment. It was a typo on Mr. Van Acker's name. He's a Peter Van Acker in the public comment, not David Van Acker.
Okay. Second with the correction of the name of Mr. Van Acker. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Item 6 is receive a presentation from Dr. John Downey, President, Blue Ridge Community College, regarding the operation of the institution. Mr. Downey. Dr. Downey.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Thank you, members of the City Council. It's my pleasure to come each year and give an annual update of what's going on at Blue Ridge Community College. As each of you know, Blue Ridge Community College transforms students' lives, and in turn, I think we support the economic development of the city and the region as a result. We couldn't do it without the support of the City Council, and we appreciate that. And I want to point out a statistic that of all the Waynesboro residents who attended college this past fall, 37% of them chose Blue Ridge Community College for their post-secondary school, the highest percentage of any college in the region. So I think that's important. I'd like to thank the city staff. It's a pleasure working with Mr. Hamp and Economic Development Director Hitchin and all of the staff who are exceptional to work with, and appreciate the partnerships we've been able to develop and build over the years. The college works closely with the economic development team. We're delighted to have the Waynesboro Outpost now open at the Innovation Hub at Metal Crafters Building. This location is ideal for us in serving the needs of Waynesboro residents. It helps us tremendously as we work with city employers and address their workforce needs. But really what it helps students do is be able to sign up for classes and register for classes without having to drive all the way up to Weir's Cave with the construction on 81 right now. And also to take distance learning courses from that facility and take proctored testing and things. And so that's been a really good partnership with the city. I'd like to thank Superintendent Cassell for the partnerships we developed with Waynesboro City Schools as well. We continue to offer exceptional dual enrollment opportunities, and starting this past year and continuing on, high school juniors and seniors can sign up for a full year of transfer education free of charge. So that's statewide, part of the new law that was passed. So hopefully Waynesboro high school students are making themselves aware of that opportunity. It's a wonderful opportunity to get a free years of college before you even graduate from high school. Our career coaching program is well thought of in the schools, and we continue to enjoy a large percentage of Waynesboro high school graduates attending Blue Ridge as their first post-secondary option. We've also worked with the high school to form some workforce partnerships to benefit them, and it allows some of the seniors to earn a marketable skill before they graduate from high school as well. So for example, a few recent Waynesboro high school graduates were able to complete a forklift training program prior to graduation. And so between the transfer education and all of our workforce opportunities, and we're about to start a career academy on our campus, so students can get a head start like they can in dual enrollment. They can get a head start in some of our career and technical programs as well. I'm privileged to serve as a board member for On the Road Collaborative. That's a wonderful program. It's an after-school program, and they're working hard to introduce middle school and high school students to a wide range of after-school, career-focused, hands-on activities. That program's having a huge positive impact in partnership with Waynesboro Public Schools. I'm also pleased with the partnership we've been able to develop with the Waynesboro Players Community Theater. Blue Ridge Community College's Black Box Theater is the home of the Waynesboro Players. And through that partnership, the community is able to see extremely talented community artists perform on the wonderful setting we have in the Black Box Theater on the campus. This fall, the Players are producing 1776 in honor of our nation's 250th birthday. We're also in conversations with Wayne Theater to determine ways we can partner with them as well for the benefit of local residents. I've provided each of you with packets of information for you to review at your leisure. The packets include our college's annual report, our fast fact sheet, our community link newsletter, and other handouts that highlight the college's success in helping students achieve a better life for themselves and a better community for us all. If there are ways that Blue Ridge Community College can continue to partner with Waynesboro, don't hesitate to reach out to me. We're happy to listen and develop those partnerships. And as always, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Dr. Downey?
You guys see growth in the coming years over the 37% of Waynesboro students, or and what percentage of students do you see when they finish their 2-year degree transfer out to a 4-year degree or transfer or go straight into the workforce?
So what we're seeing is an increase in enrollment in the career and technical areas, things like aviation maintenance, registered nursing, veterinary technology. Those are growing in popularity. Our transfer program is actually declining in headcount a little bit. Our overall enrollment is up, but I think the transfer education is challenged by two things: the declining population of high school graduates, so the so-called enrollment cliff that we've all expected for a while, but also the increased competition between community colleges and four-year colleges and universities. As that population of kids dwindle, then the colleges are all trying to get the same students into their prospective universities and colleges. So we just want to make sure that the high school parents are aware of the value proposition of coming 2 years to go to community college, now to have the first year paid for completely for free, and then finish at Blue Ridge, and then transfer to the four-year colleges and end up at the same degree. So we have great partnerships with the local universities. So yeah, I see opportunities for both career and technical education. With the economic development incentives you guys had with opening of Northrop Grumman, and there's other opportunities in mechatronics and areas like that for Waynesboro residents as well to get trained and get a great job and a great life for themselves.
Deal. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for being a graduate.
I would just offer Dr. Tammy this, my gratitude. I know that you all have been leaning in fairly heavily with the dual enrollment. I would just sing the praises again for that opportunity for parents that may not know and families that may not know. For our daughter, dual enrollment between BRCC and Governor's School saved us an upwards of $16,000, right? Imagine getting a $16,000 scholarship.
Yeah.
It's no joke. These credits are tremendous, and for our area, by comparison of Northern Virginia, bad example, good example, bad example, and their dual enrollment opportunities are twofold, right? So higher earners double the opportunity for increased savings that literally students are entering their junior year and their freshman year.
Yeah.
And so to the extent that, and I know you're hard at it, but whatever we can do to increase those opportunities for families and make folks aware that it can really set the table, and programs are fantastic. Really, really great. Both of our kids did really, really well with them as, 101, 102 classes, and came right into school and, was already taking junior level coursework in their freshman year. And so just want to acknowledge that and thank you for all of your efforts.
Thank you. I'm also excited about the Career Academy, where we'll give similar opportunities for career and technical students who may not want to pursue a baccalaureate. The irony is, with a career and technical degree, often those transfer to at least one university and they can pursue the baccalaureate anyway. But in the local area, those are the programs that really are vital to the economy and the economic development of the region. So I'm hoping more students realize that in high school they can start out with taking some, pre-truck driving program or welding or even aviation maintenance and criminal justice. So as we start our Career Academy on the campus, I'm hoping more and more students in the region understand those opportunities, as well as the great transfer dual enrollment we have offered for a long time.
Yeah, thank you.
I've sung your praises for years.
Yeah.
And my Blue Ridge diploma hangs on my vanity wall with the rest, It's such a great broad launch pad for the youth and for adults in our community to start from, whether you are going forward to a four-year degree or going to trade school or furthering on in the trades, which now we see sometimes in the trades you have a higher earning potential than if you have that four-year degree. So it's such a balance that we need in our area, and I will never stop singing your praises. So
Thank you very
for
much.
what you do for our community.
Dr. Downey, sorry, I wasn't going to say anything, but you guys were talking about the career, and that made me think about my own career. I'm a middle-aged woman that has recently been laid off. And so I'm wondering what opportunities are for individuals like myself, because there's plenty of us out here that are starting over again. What opportunities in this career academy that you may have for adults such as myself?
That's a great question, and we have all sorts of opportunities, from short-term, what we call fast-forward training, where the state pays 2/3 of the cost for certifications that are in demand in the workforce. So that's one option. The other option is associate degrees. We often can give life experience credit for people in situations where they've worked their whole life and have life skills and work skills. We can give them credit toward an associate's degree or toward a certificate at the college. So lots of opportunities for adults returning to college and trying to reinvent themselves at different stages of their lives. So
Thank you so much.
thanks for being a graduate as well.
Yes, I can add another Blue Ridge. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Downey.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, Mayor. Thank you.
Item 7 is to hold a public hearing and consider an ordinance amending Chapter 66, Solid Waste, increasing certain disposal fees charged at the Augusta Regional Landfill. Mr. Ham.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, members of council, this item was presented at the previous meeting by Mr. McCray. Essentially, the landfill committee recommends raising the commercial per ton tipping fee from $52 per ton to $65 per ton. This evening, we'll hold a public hearing, and the ordinance, following the public hearing, the ordinance has been properly introduced and seconded, and unless there's additional discussion, the mayor is free to call the question. So with that, back to you for the public hearing.
I hereby open the public hearing.
Yes, Eric Trinanovich.
I have nothing to add. I didn't realize it was commercial.
Okay.
I hereby close the public hearing. The ordinance has been introduced, properly seconded, and discussed. Is there any additional discussion?
Just to be clear, since there was confusion there, that is commercial only and doesn't, Waynesboro residents still have free use of the landfill,
That's correct.
just so we're clear.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Item 8 is to hold a public hearing and consider adopting an ordinance amending Chapter 30, Environment, Article 2, Erosion and Sediment Control to increase the Virginia Erosion and Sediment Program permit fee schedule. Mr. Hamp?
Yes, sir. In general, this amendment incorporates the state fee schedule into our code, and all the city is attempting to do is to adopt those increases established by the state and preserve the small margin that we recover through the permit and furnish the additional margin through the state increase back to the state.
I hereby open the public hearing.
No one has signed up to speak on this matter.
I hereby close the public hearing. This ordinance has been introduced, properly seconded, and discussed. Is there any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Item 9 is to hold a public hearing on the city's proposed community development block grant annual action plan for fiscal year 2027. Ms. Tate.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. You'll remember several meetings back, I kind of held an introductory meeting about the Community Development Block Grant 2026 Annual Action Plan, letting kind of individuals in the community know that this was the public needs meeting where they could come and express any kind of public need that this program may be able to benefit. Tonight, we're here to present the draft of that annual action plan and hold a public hearing on the proposed activities. So the purpose of the public hearing is to obtain the views and comments of individuals and organizations concerning the city's proposed annual action plan for the upcoming program year. Just to kind of go over the larger consolidated planning process, the 5-year process. We begin with consultation, public participation. We go through a needs assessment, a market analysis. That leads you to kind of your strategic goals. And then every year you're developing your annual action plan. So the 2026 annual action plan is year 3 of our 5-year consolidated plan. I'm not going to read all these, but it goes over several eligible activities through the Community Development Block Grant Program. I hesitate to focus on any one individually because while that is just a simple phrase, there are often a lot of intricacies and difficulties with this program, especially with the funding amount that we receive every year. And I will kind of share that as we continue through this presentation of, how we pick the activities each year. So any activity that uses community development block grant funds must meet one of the 3 national objectives. So benefit low to moderate income persons, prevent or eliminate blight, or meet some kind of urgent need, often in an emergency situation. We tend to come up with activities that benefit low to moderate income persons, as that is kind of the majority of your grant needs to be spent through that national objective. So the goals and priorities that were that came out of our 5-year consolidated plan was to improve access to and quality of housing, provide public services, which we have done in the past through our grant, in giving to nonprofit organizations. There is a cap on that is available through this program. Another goal and priority of our 5-year plan was to improve public facilities and infrastructure, and you'll see that that's the focus of this annual action plan. And then lastly, planning and administration. That's required by HUD if we were ever to fund any administrative costs in the future through the program, although we haven't been doing that the past several years. So the funds that we have available for the 2026 program year is $163,822. That will be available to us if this annual action plan is approved in October. And really that amount needs to be spent down by, August or really the end of July of the following year. So it's quite a condensed time frame to spend down those funds to continue to meet your timeliness. So staff last year proposed using community development block grant funds to help do the design and engineering work for several pedestrian intersections that we had funded through Virginia Department of Transportation's Highway Safety Improvement Program, because we applied for funding, and then once they started to look at the intersections, realized you're not going to have enough funding to do all the engineering and design work. But if you find some other way to fund that, then you can use this through construction funds. So that's what we did. It's worked really, really well. I think we're going to meet our timeliness for the first time in 3 years. And so staff started to look at, okay, for this next program year, could we do something similar? So in the third round of HSIP, we applied for several intersections, and my understanding is that VDOT didn't fund that round of HSIP. They were kind of using, backfilling certain projects that needed some additional funds, which we were able to receive some for our other project. So they were helping to kind of fill the blanks and the gaps in previous program years. And so we went to that application that we'd submitted and looked at, okay, of those intersections, which ones are in low to moderate income areas, because that's how you can qualify to do the design work. And then $163,000 doesn't go very far in constructing the activity, but does help in the design work. So our proposal is to use those funds for the design and engineering for improvements to 5 pedestrian crossings that are in CDBG eligible areas. Each intersection will have an uncontrolled crossing study, a field survey, minimum plan development for ADA ramps, signing, and pavement markings. The estimated benefit number that's there, that's kind of how HUD requires you to come up with that estimated benefit number, is looking at the block group, the census block group where those different intersection improvements are located, and there's a number associated with that. So that isn't really detailed in that we've gone out and determined 1,000 people are going to use those intersections, but it's how HUD asks us to qualify the estimated benefit of the infrastructure improvement. I show this map. We didn't put the specific locations in the annual action plan because as you're working through these things with your design professionals, sometimes things can change or there could be an issue with another project. But I did want to show you the 5 intersections that we've had our design professionals look at, and that's kind of where they cost estimated for the proposal. So you can see these 5 different intersections are all within a block group that is greater than 51% low to moderate income. So the high school is actually here in green. So you have these 2 locations kind of right in front of the high school. And then as you continue down here at Federal and then at Short and Arch. So those are the ones that we are looking at. And again, they came from the list that we had put in. I think it might have been 25 in the original list that we put in for HSIP. So this is just some of those. But we worked with Public Works to identify which ones could be helpful to them as they're working through their ADA upgrades and different projects, and then which ones are in low to moderate income areas. And that's how we came up with these 5 and would continue to chip away over the years, whether it be through this program or other funding mechanisms. So the one other thing I will say before I get into the timeline is that this is just for the design work for those 5. We are working with Public Works to identify if the construction funding can be done through their VDOT funds. So to confirm that, if that can happen, whether all or none of that could happen, we would have the ability in next year's annual action plan, once we have all these 5 designed, to take those funds and know exactly, we'd have the cost estimates at that point with our number. Can we do 3? Can we do 4? Can we do all 5? So that might be something that you see in a future year, but we're still working with Public Works to identify how best to fund the construction. It is a requirement that if you use community development block grant funds to design the work, you have to have the project constructed. I believe it's like 8 to 10 years. So we would have time to kind of chip away at it if needed. So we feel like we have a comfort level there. So the draft plan was available for public comment on June 1st. Tonight we're having the public hearing on the planned activities. July 1st will be the end of the 30-day public comment period. And then July 13th is when we'd ask council to approve of the plan, obviously recognizing any comments received within that 30-day comment period. On August 14th, we would submit the plan to HUD, and then our program year would begin October 1st. And I guess to kind of reiterate something that I mentioned earlier in the presentation is that on August 2nd, we have a timeliness test date where we can't have more of the grant, a certain ratio or percentage of the grant, backlogged than what we've spent down. And so for the past 3 years, we have struggled to meet that timeliness ratio. And I will say that is in no part to the expertise or the very hard work of staff, but just kind of recognizing the projects that are being chosen and recognizing that you either have to use CDBG funds to design and plan them and then have another year for construction, or recognize that the project's just too big for these types of funds. And so I think we've gotten into a good rhythm in picking the projects that work. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions?
Thank you.
I hereby open the public hearing.
No one has signed up to speak, sir.
I hereby close the public hearing. No action is required this evening. Item 10 is consider adopting by resolution the 2026 Central Shenandoah Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. I call on Mr. Gary Fisher.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Tonight, you should have received an executive summary of the Central Shenandoah Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. This is a plan that's readopted every 5 years. It's required for the localities to have this plan in place in order to be eligible for hazard mitigation grant funds and other projects. Currently, Public Works is working on a project that this plan will support. This is a plan that's been under revision for about the last year and a half. It's been led by numerous meetings from all the jurisdictions in Planning District 6, where we went through and looked at all the hazards and vulnerabilities that affect our regions and our specific jurisdictions. We ranked those and we looked at mitigation strategies for our communities, and that's what leads to the development of this plan. It's revisited again every 5 years to refresh it, bring it up to speed. For example, this year we did a lot of additional work on things such as cyber issues, other things that you wouldn't traditionally think about in a hazard mitigation plan. We've used this in the past to mitigate properties in the floodplain, so it is a very valuable plan to the community. And we ask for your consideration and adoption of the plan so that we can move forward.
Any questions? Is there a motion to adopt the 2026 Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Slow. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Comby. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item 11 is to consider adopting a resolution approving an agreement between the city of Waynesboro and Brian Collins providing an easement for a city greenway trail segment. Mr. Hammond.
Yes, sir. Council may recall that you provided guidance and direction to staff to pursue the acquisition of this needed easement through a mediation process. That process was recently concluded with a tentative agreement to acquire the access for a payment of $70,000 and include the owner as an additional insured on our insurance for liability claims and limited to liability claims brought for bodily injury for Greenway users. And then a third and sort of informal consideration is come to some sort of agreement to provide access to the property owner, to his property. So the council's asked, it's necessary for the council to approve the agreement, and council's asked to approve the agreement by resolution this evening. I'm happy to respond to questions, and I think Ms. Michelson can answer questions as well.
Any questions?
Just to confirm, the city would not be under any obligation to finance the access to his property?
No, sir. None whatsoever. This is going to be just a neighborly agreement for frequency and what type of vehicle and for what purpose.
Okay.
Covering him on the insurance plan, if he were to want to sell his part of the property or anything, what, is there anything that connects that would go with a sale to his part of the property?
I'm going to defer to the attorney for that question.
I'm not sure I understand your question fully. Would that mean that would there be
Would we
any
insure
coverage
the
for the next person? That's not specifically drawn out in the agreement, so I would say no. It would, unless it's limited to Mr. Collins.
And that would only extend him to, or covering him under uses related to the Greenway.
Right, if anything arising out of, city negligence relating to an injury or damages resulting from, use of the Greenway.
Only other question I had was, just to restate, confirm as I understand it, that the settlement funding is coming from city funds only. No grant funds are being used to make the payment.
I believe that's the case.
That's correct.
That's all I have.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving the settlement to acquire the easement?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Sloat. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it 5-0. Item 12, communication correspondence calendar. Mr. Hamp?
I have one item of communication, and that's to express appreciation to our staff down at the Economic Development and Tourism. We've had a run here recently in the last several weeks of pretty extensive downtown events to attract folks to our community and more specifically to the downtown area. And I just would like to acknowledge the additional work and effort and coordination and execution of those events for that staff.
Absolutely.
Noted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Second that too. The Hikers Fest as well as Street Arts Fest. I went to those, by the way. I forgot to ask.
That's great.
Item 13, citizens comment.
Yes, sir. Mr. Trironovich has signed up. I had it right the first time, and I haven't gotten it
Yeah,
right
I have
since.
nothing else to add. I just wanted to make sure if I did, I got a chance to speak, so thank you.
Thank you.
Item 14, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Short. All in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned. Have a good evening.
No.
No.